What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Frustrated Grad podcast. I am your host, Zach Hughes, the black dude coming to you live from QVC. I mean, the White House.
Yeah,
Actually, it's my basement, but it's close enough. Uh, I'm Zach Hughes, and I'm welcoming my co host, Tony Spicy Spicer Hoffman.
spicy spicer. I
Yeah,
my gum. My gum is
yeah.
right beside me.
You've,
I eat
you've been known
chew them
to
by the
chew and
fistful.
swallow gum by the
Oh,
pound.
that stuff just digests. I hear. Just sits in your stomach for decades.
Yeah, not a good look. So what's going on, Tony?
Nothing much. Just I'm excited for the Grammy Awards tonight. Aren't you too, Zach? Aren't you excited for
I'm so
whoever's
excited.
nominated?
Yeah, I'm so excited that I didn't realize it was happening. That's my level of excitement for that particular event.
I don't
Uh,
even know who's up for any of the big awards. I just assume it's just all the mainstream. The Beyoncé's and
yeah,
you know,
the only thing that I know is a of note is I think they had to change the rules to for Chance the Rapper to be qualified because you have to have a certain number of like record sales to qualify for a Grammy nomination. And
that's
I guess
stupid.
Chance the Rapper never sells his music. He's giving it all away for free. So
And
it's
I know,
interesting.
I think Frank Ocean is like boycotting the Grammys as every couple of years, a hip hop artist will boycott the Grammys.
The problem
Jay Z and Kanye did it.
Okay, that makes sense,
Yes.
and that's a statement for those two to do that type of thing. But for
I just wonder how
somebody,
effective it is.
I don't know. I don't think it really makes any difference. But usually, I hear about these boycotts from people who I don't know were necessarily invited in the first place. So, uh, just like back a few years back when the Jada Pinkett boycotted the Oscars. And I'm not sure if she would have been there otherwise. So it was kind of. I mean, I guess his, her husband has to have a +1, so I guess she would have gotten in anyway. But still, it's kind of weird for people who are not really on the radar to
I
come
think
out
that was
like
like
that.
the year that he didn't get nominated for that shitty concussion movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell
that was
the
the
truth.
yeah.
Tell the truth. Yeah, they told the truth and said it wasn't worthy of a nomination. I don't know. I never saw the movie. Didn't look interesting to me. I see
Neither
enough.
did I.
I see enough and hear enough about concussions by just being a wrestling fan, being around that world.
Protect your head. Keep your
Yeah,
head up.
or as the members of the Wu Tang would tell you, protect your neck. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So
Go to the movies this weekend?
no, I did not, and I've been missing out on movies for a little while now. But I see you went recently.
Yeah, I saw John Wick 2 yesterday, and I didn't have the chance to see the Lego Batman movie, which I still want to
Okay,
see because
yeah,
I didn't want to do like two in one day.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
That's the one I'm trying to get to see sometime soon. That's on my radar.
I'm deciding between like should I just stay home and like watch the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view or just go to the movies. I'll probably just stay home and just watch wrestling.
Yeah, for me, that's probably the plan. I'm also going to be watching The Walking Dead. That's why I'm wearing my Michonne shirt. For
Ah,
all the viewers, they can see the lovely Michonne t-shirt
show
that
off your
I'm wearing.
Michonne.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that to come back. I mean, I was kind of down on it the last half of this season, but having some distance away from it, I'm ready to get back into it and see what happens.
I don't think the time has made what's his face any more of a jerk.
Negan,
Negan, the great Negan,
the
sadistic.
yeah, I feel like the end is nigh with Negan, or at least some kind of confrontation is on the horizon. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes and how the different pieces on the board come together.
I would hope so. I just feel like every episode this season, it's just like this, it's just like slow burn. I mean, it's either
Yeah,
just
very slow build of tension and
Negan being a
hatred.
jerk, or just yeah,
Yeah,
or that.
yeah. But I feel like
So
they're getting to a point where they will be past that, or at least they're going into they're taking a slight turn on that angle instead of everybody just bowing down for episode after episode. So
I'm pretty much like these people that just watches like the season premiere and the season finale at this point.
I
Everything
feel
in
like,
between is just
I mean,
filler.
I feel like I couldn't skip episodes. It's never. I've never been able to cope with that. If I do like tune out on something, kind of kind of happened with Preacher, but it wasn't because I didn't like Preacher. Just like I got out of the loop. I'll just like if I take a break, I'll binge them after they've all aired or something.
I binged them exactly. I binged
Yeah,
them on demand. Like I think that was like back during the summer.
yeah. So I feel like I've said multiple times, like Walking Dead is better on a binge, but like it's so popular and it's so gets so spoiled that I try to keep up. So that
Hmm.
makes everything feel slower going through that weekly pace. But hopefully it's different this second half. Um,
Have you been catching up on like Shield and some of our other regular favorites? Did you see episode 2 of that Powerless on NBC?
yeah, I did,
I
and it's
I heard it was terrible.
yeah, it really it really isn't hooking me. Like I said before, it the like the world of the Powerless show is interesting to me, but like these characters that they're focusing on is not appealing. Like I don't know if Vanessa Hudgens is
Yeah,
a leading comedic actress.
and that's hard when
Yeah,
you're not a comedic actress.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really like I'm struggling to find somebody to click with. Also, I kept thinking like Ron Funches is on here. Doesn't he have another show on NBC, or is that show finally canceled?
That show's been finally been canceled. You're,
Okay,
you're referring to
Undateable
oh yeah,
is
Undateable.
unwatchable
Oh, no. It
because
was live.
it was so weird because it was like I felt like from the first season of that show I was like, oh, this show is totally getting canceled, and then they continued to do like two more seasons, but then they started doing the live thing. I guess it was just a gimmick to make people
It
watch, but
absolutely
it
was.
it didn't necessarily work apparently. So uh, I'm glad he's freed up for better things. I don't know if
Not
this is
necessarily better.
necessarily it. I don't know if this is the better thing, but he's freed up for better things maybe in the future. But yeah, so far this is not working for me.
Poor Abed.
Yeah, I mean, he'll find something else. He needs to venture outside of NBC, and he'll find some kind of success somewhere else. Find something on Netflix to get attached to.
Hopefully. Did you
Yeah,
see SNL? I assume you saw SNL last night.
yeah,
It's
uh,
all
uh,
over my social media timeline. All the sketches and
yeah,
I
um,
like Baldwin impressions. And,
yeah. I was trying to think of what was some of the standouts, like all of like the Spicer press conference stuff was seemed like the thing that was getting the most reposts today. So,
the Kellyanne Conway, the
oh, the
Fatal
Fatal
Attraction.
Attraction. It was a weird one because like
I think that's what they were going for.
yeah, we're obviously going for that, but I was trying to think, like I knew the joke they were going for from the beginning, but I was like, okay, like like how this scene plays out is like extremely sexual. So how did they change that to like make it more specific to the what they're making fun of, but it was still pretty sexual, so that was kind of
Jack
distracting
Tapper.
from it. Jake Tapper,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, it was odd, and then it turns into a scene from I can't even remember. I think it was a Mel Gibson movie where the kid snaps his knees backwards and runs away. It kind of gave me vibes of that towards the end. Actually, maybe it wasn't a Mel Gibson movie. I think it was actually Charlie Sheen in that movie. It's an alien movie, but it was kind of creepy. The broken limbs snapping back. But yeah, but overall, I think it was some decent highlights. We never talked about the Kristen Stewart episode from last week. I just thought that one was interesting in the sense that it was kind of a
She
train
didn't.
wreck.
Yeah, exactly. The things it's funny is like they brought in like Melissa McCarthy and I think like some other
Yeah,
person
like that
showed
was
up
where
too.
the Spicer thing first kicked off, but that took all the attention off of like like all the uh all the different flubs that were happening throughout the episode. Like uh,
That even started the episode. She said the F, or said
yes,
fuck during the monologue.
yeah, it was obvious she didn't play it off at all. Shined a big light on it. It was like, oh, I'll probably never
Oh,
be asked
oops.
back now. uh,
She just. I mean, I've never been like a huge fan of hers.
I don't think I've seen one movie that she's been in.
You haven't seen Adventureland or any of the shitty Twilight movies,
Did I
or
see Adventureland? No, I'm thinking Zombieland. No, I haven't. Yeah, because then she was in that other movie with uh, where I always forget uh, fake Lex Luthor's name. Jesse
Jesse
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. Yeah,
Because I
Adventureland.
always want to say Michael Sarah, but discount Michael Sarah. Yeah,
You didn't see
she was in a movie with him. I didn't see it.
what was that movie with Jodie Foster, the Safe House, from like
Safe House.
when she was a kid, where her and her mom were trying to like they're being burglarized
You mean
by
Panic
these
Room?
Panic Room. Yes, Panic
Okay, I think I've seen that. I have no memory of her. Was she a fetus in that movie?
She was the daughter.
Okay, I really don't remember Panic Room much at all. But yeah, so yeah, I haven't been a follower of Kristen Stewart, but I don't think this sold me on her at all.
You haven't seen Snow White and the what
The Huntsman,
and the Huntsman?
who is she in that? Is she Snow White?
Yeah.
That's a weird pick for Snow White.
Yes,
Isn't she
it
supposed to be the
was.
fairest of them all, not
Uh,
the frailest of them all?
of them all, the stiffest of them
Yeah,
all.
it's weird choice. That's probably another reason why I never saw that. And then they did, what was it, a prequel to The Huntsman last year,
Yeah,
and
Emily Blunt.
never quite hooked me.
I saw
But
that
yeah,
on HBO last week.
all right, that sounds like an HBO movie. Uh, but yeah, so that episode was interesting, just from her saying "fuck" in the beginning of the episode, and then like it's like a huge screw up on Weekend Update. It was about to wrap up about halfway through when they actually should have. So that was
Uh,
I that's one of the appeals of live television, is just to see like what goes wrong. And that was an exciting episode for the people who view it through those eyes.
those sadistic eyes.
Yeah. Yep. Schadenfreude Night Live. Anyways.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw that Lawrence Fishburne, who was in John Wick 2,
Okay.
he's not going to be coming back to play Perry White in the Justice League movie, and it was his choice. Apparently, like they asked him, and he came up with the excuse that he had a scheduling conflict, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it could be true. But
Well, the I don't know how much Perry White will be missed in this in the Justice League movie, because you already have like Commissioner Gordon, who's another human character who is being highlighted some kind of way in this plot. So how many non superhero characters do you need when you have like five of those? Uh, Also, they could, since they are in the habit of taking pages from Marvel's playbook, they should just recast Perry White as someone who was recast in the Marvel universe. It's Terrence Howard. How about that for some stunt casting there?
Like you said, I don't think Perry White is that important of
No.
a character that needs to be cast. But he during an interview with the LA Times, he pretty much said how frustrated he was at how the Marvel movies are better than the DC movies. That they're pretty much kicking like
Yeah.
DC's ass. So that
I think there's
probably
a reason for that.
explains. It.
Some DC fans will tell you the reason is because Disney/Marvel is paying off all of these critics to bash, or
uh, yeah.
to bash the DC product. But yeah,
Yeah, we got paid to do that. Remember?
yeah,
Yeah.
I got paid so much money to talk about how
Swimming.
how awesome Civil War was, because otherwise I would have just taken a shit all over that movie. But yeah, anyway,
It's a conspiracy. CON
conspiracy.
conspiracy.
Yeah. All right. I mean, how many scenes do you need in the Justice League movie of a guy dictating headlines to writers to go write stories r- based around those? Like I've
I need
never
somebody to
seen.
cover that football game. I
Yeah,
have 2 pages to fill.
yeah. We need a random person who doesn't cover sports on a normal basis to just do sports today because I said so. We don't
We
have
need
a sports beat per
we need
se.
an old timey newspaper editor for
Yeah.
a newspaper that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I haven't been around too many uh newsrooms as far as print goes, but I've never heard someone dictate a headline and say write this. Like like y- half the work's done already.
Front page.
Yeah. So, there you go.
There are no more like little newsboys screaming extra extra. Read
Yeah.
all about it.
I used to love those caps though. I never could pull them off. My head was too big. But I
Sami
was
Zayn newsboy.
yeah, I need to listen to some more Mighty Mighty Boss tones, and maybe I'll get into the vibe of wearing that hat and just bopping my head around.
And be Canadian,
Yeah,
French Canadian.
French Canadian Muslim redhead. That's like, was it like a quadruple minority in the states? I'm surprised he hasn't been deported from the ring in this recent week's episode of Raw. Maybe that's
Mm.
coming up.
Oh, speaking of Raw, Samoa Joe, we didn't never talked about that,
Oh yeah,
did we?
he debuted and injured Seth Rollins, which
Nice. That's what he gets. That's what he gets.
that's the problem. He's like a guy who's kind of become notorious for injuring people was injured by another guy who is notorious for injuring people.
Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure Bret Hart has plenty to say about that situation.
He did like a variation of that finisher that injured Tyson. That was what's it called, the Muscle Buster.
Yeah.
But he
Uh,
did like instead of just like landing straight on like the guy's like shoulder or chest or whatever, like he did like a variation of it that was a little bit more, I guess, safer. I don't know if you saw that
okay.
when he did that to Roman Reigns.
Okay. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but this is not a wrestling podcast. This is
No,
a general interest podcast
yeah.
for all those of you non-wrestling fans. So I'm trying to think if there was something else I wanted to say about Lawrence Fishburne because he's been on my mind recently. I finally decided
Lawrence Fishburne on your mind.
I finally decided I was gonna get back to watching Blackish, because like from the I don't know what season they're on now, but like the first
Third or fourth?
yeah,
Something like
but I think I tried to get into it from the beginning. In that first season, really didn't
he's the
appeal to.
grandfather.
Yeah, it's the Lawrence Fishburne is the grandfather on there, but like I couldn't really get into Anthony Anderson's character, and I'm still probably struggling with that because he's supposed to be he's kind of like the moral compass, I guess, of the family, but he is the least educated of the two
Yes, it doesn't make
spouses,
any sense.
and he seems to be the compass of the direction of where this family goes when his
It
wife
doesn't
is a
seem
doctor.
it doesn't seem like Tracy Ross and Anthony Anderson would ever be married or together in any
Even
like.
yeah, that's a hurdle to get over, and even suspending disbelief on that aspect of it, the fact that she would be so uh like willing to just be like, oh, this is what you want to do this week, okay, let's just go with, like, the dynamic between them seems off. So that's one of the things that was kind of distracting, but I think I'm gonna give it another chance. I watched the like post-election episode they did, and that was interesting, and mainly because of the supporting cast. Like, I didn't know Wanda Sykes was on the show
Sure.
now, so I was like, oh, great, Wanda Sykes. And I always liked Dion Cole. So
How funny is it? Does it lean more in the funny direction than it does in like the serious sort of you know,
I don't know. That one was kind of
topical, preachy?
heavy-handed as
Yeah,
far
yeah,
as
yeah.
like they had some
It
good.
couldn't have been as heavy-handed as that police brutality episode where they talk to
I
their children.
I've only
I saw
heard a
the
clip
promos for
of.
that.
I've only heard like seen a clip of that on YouTube, and I was like, God,
It's serious. I'm like, I
this
don't want to watch. It's supposed to be a
this
comedy.
this reminded it reminded me of like the very special
Special,
episodes of
yeah,
like
exactly.
Family Ties back in the day, where when the friends was
No
like on
Marvin Gaye,
drugs
what's
or
going on?
something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like those special episodes. So it seems like they have more of those than normal. Uh, so like
Make me
his
laugh, damn
part
it.
of yeah. So Anthony Anderson, he has this one like monologue that kind of is just like that police brutality thing, like, how dare you say I don't love America, and it just goes into this long thing, and I was like, one of it's another one of those things that reminded me like, okay, this is why we
Preachy.
didn't come back to it. So hopefully there's less of that on a normal basis, and that they'll
That's exactly
just
why I don't
kind of
watch
move
it.
on.
It's like I need. I mean, sometimes you just want to hear that laugh track when you're at home and you're ready to go to
I
bed.
don't.
Just it's so comforting.
I mean, I don't need to be spoon fed laughs. Like, I could watch The Office or
Yeah,
Arrested Development or Parks and Rec, and
but that's what I
like,
mean. It's like it's something that's more lighter and silly.
yeah,
It's comedy.
it's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, I understand the point you're getting at here, but like, there's movies that do this way better. Like, the movie Zootopia was entirely about racism, but like, you didn't think about that on a constant basis.
Yeah, they're rabbits and
Yeah, rabbits
bears and
and
shit.
foxes and pigs and rhinos. But yeah, it's like they found a way to package that in a way where it's like, oh, I'm learning something, but like it's only in the back of my mind that I'm thinking that. So they need to work on that. But yeah,
Do you still watch Modern Family, or did you ever watch Modern Family?
I've watched Modern Family and I'm still kind of watching it, but now it's definitely not appointment television, and
No,
they are clearly out of ideas. They're like, everybody's getting old,
all the
and
kids are fucking 6 feet tall.
yeah, and they've done every all the kids are 6 feet tall except for Haley, who will never grow above like 5 feet. Uh, but I'm trying to think, what is the I keep forgetting the father's name. Was it Phil?
Phil
I feel like he's done all of
Phil
the like
Dunphy.
quirky, weird dad things that you can do in all of these previous seasons, and everybody's run through all of their potential stories like twice now. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so they're clearly out of material. One,
All the wacky screaming hijinks that
yeah, all
you know
the
the
misunderstandings, like somebody is behind the door. They do a lot of those Three's Company style
yeah.
jokes where like play on words and stuff like that. An ABC family show, because it seems like family sitcoms are like ABC's wheelhouse, but like one of their shows that I feel like is still fresh to me
The,
is
the
fresh off.
Goldbergs.
Well,
Oh,
Goldberg's I like Goldberg's because of like I always like the end of the episode where they actually show the real life references that the episode was making, because like that kid Adam Goldberg like filmed everything, so that part is always interesting to see. Like this episode is talking about this, and here's the real life situation that it's inspired by. So I always like that, and like Fresh Off the Boat is similar in that sense. They don't show like real life footage, but it's based on a book by Eddie Wong, who's
Yeah, yeah.
one of the children on the show. But I think that was I like that show because it just
It's
it,
funny.
yeah, it's funny, and like there's no character on the show that I wouldn't uh be interested in watching an episode focused on them. Like everybody has an
There's no
interesting
weak link.
story.
It's a
Yeah,
strong ensemble, and it takes
yeah,
place in the '90s too, which I like.
yeah. There's he's obsessed with Shaq and Tupac, and like it's just interesting to me. It's funny because when the show first came out, like the real Eddie Wong, celebrity chef Eddie Wong, was said he was upset about like things that they left out from his book. But he's well, like one of the things he mentioned, like, well, like I talked a lot about the domestic violence in my family in the book, and they're not touching on that at all. It's like, how are they gonna
Yeah.
make comedy out of that? Like, like if they could do it, it would be groundbreaking. But I don't think anybody's necessarily equipped to make hay out of that situation quite yet.
Yeah, I think I used to. I think I read something that he had posted about where he talked about like when he was pitching the show, and like how like the networks and stuff like they went to use like not Asian people like Taiwanese or some other things, or and they went to like change like things around and stuff, and he was kind of
Okay.
upset about that. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so I think where they ended up with the show, I think they're in a good place, and I enjoyed it every week. But yeah, but that's what I'm watching. Oh, I'm also watching 24 Legacy. Uh,
That didn't get good reviews.
I know it. They said it was like one of the lowest post Super
Post Super
Bowl
Bowl. Yeah.
debuts, but it's like I don't care about that stuff. Like I didn't watch it after the Super Bowl. I didn't even watch it on the channel that it airs on. But you know what? I watched it and I enjoyed it. So like everybody gets hung up on ratings, but who actually cares about it besides the networks and advertisers? Like people put stuff up on Netflix and nobody really knows outside of people internally like how many people are watching it at a specific time. I feel like that's not the thing to focus on.
How good is the guy from Straight Outta Compton as
Uh,
the
I feel
Black
like
Jack Bauer?
yeah, Black Jack Bauer, Black Bauer, Black Power. I think he's doing well. I don't have anything to compare him against because I never really watched 24 before this point.
Me neither.
I'm interested in going back and checking it out, but as of right now, I'm enjoying how it's going, seeing the real time aspect of things, and I've gotten into this new podcast, the unofficial 24 podcast, and they're talking about each episode. So I think I'm gonna stick with it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad that you're going against the tide, going against the popular opinion, and
I mean, because
staying with it.
if I follow the popular opinion, um, like like a lot of other people, I do like the Netflix show Stranger Things. I'm completely signed off, just like everyone else is with that. But something to go against the popular opinion. It's a show that um, dropped on Netflix like right around that same time that I've not seen one person mention was The Get Down. It was
Yeah, I remember. I know that show.
yeah,
It's Jaden Smith.
yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
have not seen anybody do reviews or anything like that.
I
It's
think I
got
got
no award consideration. It's like
when it came out. I saw a couple of things, but yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
it's like been completely ignored. So like I enjoyed it. Like first couple episodes, it took me a while to get into like the characters, but like over time I enjoyed it, and it's kind of like hip hop musical historical like period piece. Um, but like that's just one of those things that got ignored. And if I just followed the popular opinion, I would miss out on so much great stuff. Also, like chewing gum, another show I really enjoy. That
What the hell is chewing gum?
so it's on Netflix as it's kind of a thing they're in the habit of doing now. Is that shows that I guess they do it both ways because I think if you watch Better Call Saul in America, you can watch it on AMC. In other countries, that is considered a Netflix original because it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
necessarily have distribution, so Netflix just broadcasts it in other places. So uh, on the opposite end, they'll do. Uh, there's a channel called Channel Four in the UK.
BBC Four or just Channel
Actually,
Four?
it's I think it's not BBC Four. It's just Channel Four. I think it's a
Okay.
cable channel over there. So Channel Four has a lot of shows on it. I don't. Well, I think Doctor Who is on one of the BBC channels, but Channel Four
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a lot of the other like legacy UK shows. I think Downton Abbey is on one of the because it's weird how they structure channels because there's multiple Channel Fours. There's like Channel Four, E4, which is connected to them, 4 Star, and then there's four more, and I think there's a few, and then there's Channel 5 and a bunch of affiliates of that. So it's really weird. But Channel 4 airs the show Chewing Gum, and it's a show about like they call them the council estates over in the UK, but they're basically the projects. There's a comedy about these people that live in the
Oh,
projects,
nice.
and the main star is this black girl who's a virgin. Her mom is super religious African uh, immigrant to London, and she's like it's like about just her getting in touch with sexuality and fighting against like her religious mom, and it's like a lot of weird like crazy
Yeah.
sexual situations you'll see
Ooh.
on this comedy. But like over like
That's comedy
over
somewhere.
yeah, there's lots of comedy there. But that's one of the shows on Channel 4 that is broadcast over here as a Netflix original, they call it. Because I think they only have season or series one, as they call it. They only have that one on Netflix, but season two is currently playing on Channel 4. So I've been able to find those as they air each week, but it takes a little extra work to get those.
Do you watch? Have you seen the Royals on the E Network?
I was interested in that when I first saw previews for it, but I didn't hear anything good about it, so I didn't
No.
check it out.
It's like a crappy like show about like this sort of fake like royal family and
British
like
royal
all of the
family, yeah.
yeah all the scandals and hijinks and shit and it's like every once in a while I'll like tune in just to like just to see. I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure. I would just call it just. I just like to look at Elizabeth Hurley and the actress that plays her daughter. So
Okay. Has
that's
there
pretty
been
good.
a cameo by Mike Myers as Austin Powers?
Unfortunately, not.
Damn.
No,
Okay, let
fat
me
bastard.
let me know when that happens, and
Mhm.
I'll check it out.
I doubt it will.
Well, too bad for them. They're missing out on one viewer, and I'm sure they'll miss it. I never understood the thing with the ratings. Like they'll say this show has 3 million viewers and a 5 point something share. Like
Share
I have
one
no idea
share.
what that means. It
Every
doesn't mean
once,
anything to
like I'll
me.
forget what it means. Then I'll find out what it means. Then I'll forget again.
Yeah, like get so focused on that, and obviously it matters for ratings and all that stuff. But how about you just take a chance to let a show get through one season and then uh,
No matter
check
how
it out
bad the
after that
ratings,
point?
no matter if the ratings just get bad week after week after week, you have to give it a chance.
I mean, a lot of times those things are circumstantial. Like It depends on your placement in the week, what your competition is on other networks, and also they only stop at like, okay, they'll look at the night that the show airs, and then like, what was it like, within the next few days on DVR or something, and they'll stop at that point. But some
Hey,
people,
Zach, I'm a TV executive. You got to make money. Advertisers are pulling out. We can't put up with this. We're under pressure from the advertisers.
all right, well, they at least need to have some kind of like secondary TV market, and they kind of have it in like Hulu and stuff like that, but it's kind of like hit or miss. Like some shows that you like will get saved, and others just like, well, I guess that's gone. I
Yeah, there's a
guess
lot
we'll
of
never know
politics
what
involved
the event
sometimes.
really was. uh, there's so many of those like NBC, and like I think a lot of them were on NBC. There was like not persons unknown. I know there was one about people who were like in this hotel, and they were, it was like a mystery of finding out like how they get out, and it was, and
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I vaguely
yeah,
remember that.
and then there was like it kind of makes me think of the one on ABC, which I was also really interested in. Was that it wasn't apartment 666, but
Six six six.
it was
Yeah,
like
with Vanessa
something,
Williams
yeah, it
and
was
the guy
like
from
some
Lost,
address 666. Yeah, there was a
Terry
lot of,
Quinn.
yeah, there were so many lost alumni shows that just got canceled within the first season. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna revisit this thing you enjoyed from Lost. We're gonna have this person as our main character and have some supernatural elements, but they never really
Yeah.
got off the ground.
You mentioned Persons of Interest. You with the
Yeah,
Michael Emerson. you you ever watched that show?
I watched.
The Machine.
I
It
think
tells you when crimes are taking
I
place.
watched not even the first season, because like that's the problem with like
It's
network
so
TV
stupid.
shows. They'll have like 24 episode seasons,
Too many.
so I don't think I
10,
got
10
through.
too many.
Yeah, and there was such a weird thing. Is like I think I got out of the show like right after Taraji Henson
Her character was
showed up.
killed.
Yeah, and then she
Oh,
was killed off, and then Empire
got to
blows
do
up,
Empire.
and then
Yeah.
they decide to try to bring her back for some stunt uh sweeps thing probably. But it's just like it didn't hook me. It's just one of those procedural shows. Like the only way I can watch a show
One
that's,
of those procedural shows.
yeah, exactly. The only way I can watch those is if they have some kind of weird angle to like fit into that format. Like I like iZombie, even though that's basically like a CSI or one of those type of
But it's
shows.
a good
Yeah,
CSI.
it's like they have a an ongoing story that's much more interesting than the case of the week or monster of the week thing. So that keeps me going. And like the show I watch on Fox, Lucifer, which is in season 2, I really feel like is basically iZombie, but if you copy and paste zombies for angels. Uh, so it's really the same show. So like I enjoy Lucifer, but it just makes me miss iZombie because like it seems like it's been forever since the last season, and I'm
It's
just waiting.
coming. Got a couple more months, I think.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah. So yeah, I feel like I've spent the past few months just looking at the calendar, like when does this show come back? When does this show? Like so, I
I
guess
find
I'll keep looking.
myself like every once in a while I'll watch like an episode of like Castle on TNT or like NCIS, and they're all just. I mean, they're just so stupid, man. It's just you
Yeah,
know what's gonna happen before the
yeah.
episode ends.
There's some of those shows that I know from either the title or just seeing a little clip of them. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to see a full episode of the show.
But
Like,
then you'll see an actor or something that you like, and that's what pulls you in. That's what
I
makes you
don't
want
know
to
if there's
watch.
anybody who's pulled me into like a one time watching of any of these shows. Like, I'll see occasionally, I'll see like maybe half an episode of Law and Order just by accident. But like these shows like Bones, Castle, uh, there's so many
Sleepy
of
Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. I tried to get into Sleepy Hollow because it kind of had that thing I was looking for. Like, okay, this is a procedural, but there's something else going on. Let me try this out. But it was just so boring to
High
me.
concept.
It was. It just. I couldn't get into it. But another one of those that fits that format is Grimm, which I love, and I sad to see it leaving.
Yeah, you only got what? How many more episodes? I think like 6 or 7 more to go.
Yeah, I know it's only a few left. I'm still in the previous season that I'm like almost at the end of last season, and I'm like taking my time to get through them because I know I'm gonna run out. But yeah,
Are you still
sad.
watching Emerald City after Grimm?
I haven't been watching the current episodes of Grimm, but I've watched Emerald City. I probably one, maybe two episodes behind. It's just such a weird show that
It's kind of hard to get invested on a show that comes on Friday nights because it's like the network doesn't have faith in it,
that
and it probably won't be on that long. So
that's why I
why
said
should?
where you can't always blame these shows because some of these situations are circumstantial.
Exactly.
Like Grimm. Part of the reason why it's in the situation it's in is that it's been on consistently on Fridays for like most of its run.
Yeah,
It,
5 6 years.
yeah, there's what was the show on ABC. It wasn't called Neighbors, but it was like the alien shows, the
I know what
kind
you're
of
talking about.
like a new take on Third Rock from the Sun. But that show was all like first season. I think they tried to place it in some different areas to see if it fit with the comedy block or where they could put it. But then it settled into that Friday night position, and that's when I
Last man
knew.
standing.
Yeah, that's when I knew it was over. Last man standing. Yuck.
You don't enjoy Tim Allen and his
I
conservative
mean,
rants.
I liked Home Improvement when I was a
No,
kid.
you didn't like Home Improvement. You watched it because you were a kid.
I
There's nothing else
remember
like I did.
I remember stuff blowing up and him
And him
doing
complaining about his wife
yeah,
and Al and like him talking to fucking Wilson. You
yeah,
couldn't see the bottom of his part of his face.
yeah. He was a philosopher. He was a cross between the Buddha and Big Shirley because Big Shirley is a character on Martin you never saw. Uh, so you did halfway better with Wilson. There was like a BuzzFeed thing a little while back. It was um, like 10 quotes from Wilson that proved he was the modern day philosopher. It's like a handful of writers wrote all those quotes.
Stupid crap.
He just mined uh, stuff they could find to give him all of this fake wisdom. But yeah,
Pamela Anderson, the Tool Time girl.
yeah, that
Stupid.
that was what was that towards the beginning of the run. She didn't last too long.
Yeah, that
I
was like
don't
the
think.
first 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah, that was a weird addition to the show. But yeah, so I have not followed up on the career of Tim Allen outside of maybe the first Santa Claus movie.
Santa Claus 2, and Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Yeah. Um, so does that one end with the sleigh self-destructing and just that's the end of Santa Claus? He's
Yeah.
escaped from this earthly plane.
It ends when people stopped going to the movies to watch them, and
Yeah,
no money was to be made.
yeah. The Santa Claus, it always felt to me like they were just one movie away from crossing over with like Ernest. Uh, so Ernest Saves Christmas,
Ernest Scared
featuring
Stupid.
the Santa Claus. Yeah,
I've never actually seen any of those Ernest movies.
I saw. I think I've seen all of them eventually on cable, like when they
Well,
came on. They're just dumb movies.
I think one of them came on like a couple of weeks ago. It was the one where it was like some evil elf or some troll or something, and
That
he
was
was trying
probably
to.
Scared Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was too stupid for me to watch all of it.
I just thought it was funny. They're always talking to us because we are Vern. Like, hey Vern.
Vern. Hey,
Like,
Vern.
like it's always a funny thing to me when someone has like an off-camera co-star who doesn't really exist, because there's uh, if you ever watch Unbox Therapy, this guy
No.
he just opens different packages and shows all kinds of different new bleeding edge technology on YouTube. But I realized that the person he's always talking to off camera, Jack, is not actually real. Jack is a camera, and he revealed that on a recent video, and I was stunned.
He is mentally ill, this
Yeah,
person.
I mean, sometimes when you like, sometimes when you are a content creator speaking from
I know,
experience,
I know.
it is a
The
very
camera is a
solitary
person.
experience. It's a solitary experience. Sometimes you feel like you're talking to yourself, so you might have to personify an object or something.
So what you're saying is that like all the crazy homeless people, they're all doing their YouTube shows, or they're all content creators.
Exactly. Just like all those people that you think are talking on Bluetooth out in public are just completely insane. uh, that's what I felt like. That was like the best excuse a schizophrenic person ever had, was the invention of Bluetooth. Because I'll just see people like they'll tap on the air and just ramble on and on. It's who like
Trying to
who
steal
is
my
this
thoughts.
person on the other line that has nothing better to do than to talk to you as you walk through the supermarket? Like, I don't think you have any pressing business that needs to be attended to that urgently.
This deal needs to be closed. You have to close this deal.
Buy, sell, and you
S and
realize,
P.
yeah, and you turn and you look and you see the guy's holding a banana.
These Bluetooth devices, they make them come in any shapes and sizes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I know. Whenever I see it, I realize that I have not aged mentally past 13 years old, because quite often I will still find a good banana phone
Yeah.
joke funny that says something about my mental state.
A phone or something more phallic.
I just like a good banana phone.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
There's
eventually I'll get one of those fancy Bluetooth adapters that they have, some that look like an old timey telephone,
oh
or
cool.
the like I need to find one that looks like a banana. I just use that as my auxiliary device.
I have no choice but to eventually get a Bluetooth headset, because I have the newest iPhone, the 7, and
Because your phone does not have headphone jack.
exactly, it doesn't have the 3.5
That's
millimeter,
that's one of the weirdest. Uh,
which has been in use for over 100 years.
yeah, yeah, it's one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen from a
One
tech
of the
company.
greediest decisions.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, obviously it makes sense because you can make a killing in adapters and dongles, but it's like their
A killing
original
in dongles.
yeah, a killing in dongles. The that could be the biography for what is it? Tim Cook, who's the current head of
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah, that's gonna be his autobiography title. But like the original excuse was that they were saving space for thickness, but it like
I've
the
read that that's
iPhone
been
is,
disputed to be stupid
yeah,
and a lie.
obviously like it's not any thinner than the previous generation, is it?
No.
So you could have still had that one little slot, like the where you plug in the power cable is just as thick as the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
This is
So
why they bought Beats from Dr. Dre, because it's part of their whole thing to make you buy all this wireless crap, and you know,
yeah,
uh,
they want another brand that you will pay for, and not necessarily get quality, but you will get status by
exactly.
having.
You know, cut the edge, man.
Yeah, and like, why would you want your phone to be thinner than what the iPhone currently is anyway? Like, break more easily. Just have a single sheet of glass in your pocket against your curved thigh that is perfectly suited to have this thing in there. Uh, yeah,
The
it
I
doesn't
will say
seem like a good idea.
the phone is pretty damn good though. I will say that.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed like the software and the
Yeah, the
functionality
camera and
of
stuff.
Apple's devices, but the hardware, I feel like you can never buy an iPhone and just like, hey, I got my iPhone, I'm just walking around with it. Like you always need to like immediately
I
put it in
spent
a
hundreds of
case.
dollars on this fucking thing.
Yeah, it was like you have to put it in a case, and like there's no point of even having like a color preference to me because like it's only going to be covered by a case that is a different color. So you should just focus on uh, your choice of cases. Like who who is really benefiting from getting the rose gold or pink iPhone unless you get like a clear
Jet black.
case. Like yeah, you have to pay extra for jet black, don't you? Like there's the shiny black that is main price, and I think jet black was extra. But enough of my Apple hating. Uh,
You're a PC guy, we know.
yeah, PC guy. I mean, I have an iPad because like I know that the tablet technology out there hasn't really passed where the iPad Air was, and then it pretty much plateaued. So I have my iPad Air, and like I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon. And like I have other tablets. I have like a Windows tablet, but my iPad is my go-to. So I don't completely hate Apple. I just think they make a lot of extra unnecessary things because they have to keep a cycle going, which I feel
The
like
vicious cycle,
yeah, it's
flat circle.
like it's really like it's too obvious now because it's like okay, we have this one technology that we could logically just put in all of our devices, but we're going to put it in this one device that we're going to highlight like retina display was on it was on one of the iPhones first, and then what did they wait like 2 generations before they put it on the iPad, and then another generation later it went to the actual MacBook. This is like it's all
They're
these
supposed to
little,
be coming out with another iPhone this year because it's the it's the 10th anniversary of the first
of course.
iPhone.
Like yeah, they're on a pattern of like there's one every year, right? There's like the number, and then there's the S or the C or whatever, then there's a new number next year. It's like that's what they do. And I'm off the wagon. Like maybe eventually sometime in the future I might get myself an iPhone, but it would not be whatever the newest most expensive one is. I'll just snag one for cheap on
You could have
Amazon.
you could have been playing Super Mario Run by now.
I I have it on my iPad, but like in again, since it is an iPad, I don't play it because that's pretty heavy to be holding in portrait mode. They need to just fix it and make a landscape version that for people who don't have an iPhone, or they need to hurry up with the Android version. They said it would eventually get to
In
Android.
March or something, I saw they
Okay,
announced the date already. I think
all right. So
a
maybe
couple
I'll
weeks ago.
check it out then because I have tons of Google money free because of my Google
Google
opinion
Cash.
rewards. Yeah, I think over time I've gotten like $70 from just these Google surveys. They'll just pop up like if I leave Target or something. Like, hey, have you been to Target? How did you like it? And here's 26
Your
cents for answering
your
that question.
opinions are improving the Google products, Zach.
Yes. Eventually, they will know everything about me, uh, more than I know about myself. The one thing I think about Google that is kind of creepy is when you're at a location and they'll just give you an alert from like Google Maps, like, "Hey, we don't have that many pictures of Little Caesars in South Holland. Why don't you take a picture of it?" It's like,
Go to work.
I didn't want to tell you that I was at Little Caesars, but I guess you knew that already. But
Big
yeah,
Brother.
Big Brother is watching. Yeah, he's always watching. Um,
You want to talk a little wrestling, or is that too? That's too much
it
wrestling for
it
one.
It would trigger me if we did. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched that much wrestling this week. I think I watched all of Raw.
Why?
Yeah, because I saw the Reigns match. I mean, it's just a
I'm
habit,
so
and
tired
I
of
don't
Raw.
watch it live, and quite often I'll skip through it. But sometimes I'll put it on in the background. It's never like I choose Raw over other things. Like Monday night, I'm not watching Raw as it happens. Um,
It sucks because now that I've watched like almost a year's worth of wrestling, I listen to like Dave Meltzer and like some of the other like wrestling podcasts and
yeah,
sources. Like you kind of like know like what's going to happen in terms of
yeah.
like
For
the WrestleMania matches and everything.
Yeah, for a while I was like even when I wasn't watching, well, SmackDown wasn't a thing to watch until recently, but um even for shows I didn't watch, I would just catch up on them through podcasts because it's so easy to get out of like out of sync with shows, and then it's like, oh, I don't really need to go back. Like
No,
I know what's
exactly.
happening. Like for a show that does not ever have reruns, quite often shows will feel like reruns. So
Like,
it's
hey,
a
look, it's Sasha and Charlotte or Bailey
yeah,
and Charlotte and
yeah. It's like, oh, we
Ziggler
already know.
and and Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, we already know at this point there's a pattern. Uh, uh, do not challenge Charlotte for her women's championship on pay per view.
Pay per view.
Just
Yeah.
challenge her on Raw, and then you'll win. Because she seems to be very relaxed and off her game on Raw, but she turns up her A game for pay per view. So don't battle for her for a championship on pay per view. Um,
Have you seen what the potential WrestleMania matches are going to look like? I've seen.
I heard a little bit about it, but
Uh,
what were some of the things that stood out?
well, one thing that they're saying is that like like Nikki Bella and John Cena are going to be in a mixed tag team match against um, what's to
The
say, the
Miz and
Miz and
Maurice.
Maurice.
I heard that story,
And
and I don't.
apparently, like Nikki's gonna like either retire or like
Yeah, it's supposed to
John
be
Cena's
her
gonna
last
propose.
match. Yeah, I've heard
It
all of
sounds so
that
fucking stupid.
speculation. I've heard all that speculation, but I cannot see. I mean, Cena's done it for a few manias, but I don't see John Cena like stepping that far down on the
No.
card for that. Um, Also, I don't see the like. I feel like it's a downgrade for the Miz. Also, like even like I'm not saying that it's lower because there are women involved, but I feel like for a major singles star to kind of sideline themselves on WrestleMania in a tag team match, it's
A
a step
mixed
down.
tag team match.
Yeah, but like I feel like for everybody involved, for Maurice versus
Really?
Nikki
Even for
Bella as a singles match, I would be more interested in that on its own. For the Miz versus John Cena as a singles match, I would be more interested in that. But like, there's like you run into like the tag team pattern if you just put all these people together. It's not gonna be like a knockdown, drag out, all over the ring spectacular because there's a formula that tag team matches take, and then there's like it's even more rigid when it's like, okay, this person can't fight this person and only this person. So it's like they're only built to last so long. It's not gonna go longer than like 10 minutes or something. So I feel like it's kind of a waste of everyone's time. Like everybody separately could have better matches. So like I feel
do
like
you
I don't know if that's really gonna happen. I can see Cena coming out after a Nikki Bella victory, and proposing at WrestleMania. That
I
I
just
could
think it
see
all
something
sounds so
like that.
stupid.
It sounds dumb, but
It's
I
like they're
guess
just doing it for like the reality show, the fucking
yeah. And then it's
tour.
like they took priority over like the match that was all originally rumored. Like I thought Cena was finally gonna take on Undertaker this year, but it's like I'm hearing more and more about this tag match, and I feel like that's like a weird choice to take when you had this marquee match that you could have gone to.
I don't think the Undertaker Undertaker can go more than like fucking 80 seconds.
Yeah, he needs to be carried at this point. So that's why you would have a person who like is one of your better performers and John Cena be the one to maybe give him his last match, because like if you know the time is winding down, then you should try to go out with a bang. And now it seems like they've moved away from the potential of the John Cena match to I'm hearing more and more about Roman Reigns versus the Undertaker, which I don't think he is the person to carry Undertaker into a good match. I feel like Roman Reigns has good matches when he's against someone else who is really competitive and they can do a fast paced thing where they go back and forth. But
I
Undertaker
was
needs to be carried, and I don't
I
think
was
Roman
hearing
Reigns.
like Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman because of like they're working because like on the past like couple of weeks, Strowman is pretty much being set up to eventually get eaten by Roman Reigns at WrestleMania
I
because
don't
the
feel
whole
like
back and
that's a
forth
Mania match. I feel like they're gonna probably blow
fast
that
lane
off at
probably.
Fastlane,
Yeah.
and like I feel like they have something bigger in mind for Roman Reigns, and I think Braun Strowman, he's he has an upward trajectory, but I think it's at the wrong time because they have so many people on the roster. Because like they're not gonna push him into the main event, and Roman is pretty much in the main event, so I think they're gonna slowly move him up into something, and then he's probably gonna do some kind of placeholder thing at Mania, and then they'll continue working with him after that. Because I don't think they have enough slots for main event things when they have all the old timers who have to come back and get their paychecks.
Would you want to see AJ Styles, who's probably your best wrestler,
Yeah,
against goddamn Shane McMahon and yet
I don't
another
even
stupid
get that.
ass
Uh,
stupid ass spot where he's like at the top of the Titantron and
I don't even get that rumor because, like, I mean, admittedly, I haven't been watching SmackDown every week, but like, where is this even coming from? Is there any feud
they have no
building with
rivalry, they have no
that?
interaction
Like, it doesn't make
on the
sense.
show.
I mean, WrestleMania has gotten into the pattern of just like, oh, here's a match. Like, there's no build up. Here's just a match to put on the marquee. So I could see them getting there at some point, but it does not make sense to me. Like there's a feud between, like, if you want to go with an authority figure on SmackDown, like there's a feud between Daniel Bryan and The Miz, and you're talking about potentially putting him in a tag team match with somebody he hasn't even interacted with in years, and then you're gonna make a an authority figure feud with two people who also haven't interacted. It really doesn't make sense, but who knows?
Will there's like a 99.9% chance that Cena drops the belt to Orton tonight at Elimination Chamber. Do you think that's going to happen?
um I could see it happening. I feel like Cena, like if any of the rumors regarding WrestleMania are true, like
Or
if
Bray
it,
Wyatt?
yeah, it's a potential to happen. But if any of the rumors about Cena are true, he's definitely losing the belt before Mania, because
Yeah.
he he's not going to be the champion in a tag team match, and he's not going to be the champion going against Undertaker, because that makes I think that adds a weird dynamic, even though it doesn't even seem like that match is happening. So he's definitely losing it because they want to
Got to
get,
break Flair's record.
yeah, they want to get to the 17th title win instead of like tying the record. They want to have him break the record. But then the one thing I could look forward to with him breaking the record is that he'll probably never win a championship after that, and
Yay.
that'll be a relief, because that's the thing they want to do. They want to just barely break the record so it's attainable for the next person. Just
Oh,
like
you
with
did?
the New Day, they made their record breaking tag reign and immediately lost it.
You didn't enjoy AJ and Cena at the Rumble 2 weeks
I
ago?
I liked it, but I didn't like the result because
Yeah.
there was like no point of that happening, and it really just like AJ had all the momentum in the world, and he's getting great reactions even as a heel, and he's doing, even though he's doing great heel work, then it's just like, Fuck them. It's like, why? What was the point of that? But like, let's wrap up in what do you expect to see at tonight's Elimination Chamber? Who do you think is gonna win the chamber match?
uh, I can't. Oh, boy, I mean, I'm gonna go out and say I'll see Bray Wyatt. Bray
Okay,
Wyatt's gonna.
I think I'm gonna go with Orton because I think they don't have room for him to actually main event WrestleMania. So I feel like they're gonna just get his stuff out of the way. Like, oh, he won uh, the Rumble, so this is his Mania moment, and we're gonna get that out the way because the actual main event for WrestleMania is gonna involve Goldberg, and so we need to uh, get this out of the way. So yeah,
Do you think that Naomi is gonna defeat Alexa Bliss for the women's championship?
I would like her too because Naomi has always been on the edge of getting the women's title, and like since like all of these other people,
Will
even
she
newer
snatch Alexa
divas.
balls
I don't know. That
as
would
she
be
says?
interesting to see. I just want to see the rear view. That's one of my favorite finishing moves.
Why
Uh,
is it one of your favorites?
um, because I've, as a movie fan, I've always been a
A
fan.
Hitchcock.
I've always been a fan of a great finale, and the
Okay.
finale is is the climax of everything that's happened in a
Oh,
movie coming
nice
to
choice of word.
an end. And I think the rear view is a perfect place to end a match. And that's where we should end this
Nice. I
episode.
knew you were gonna do that.
All right. So, you want to give out your deets for everybody to hit you up after the show and tell you their Elimination Chamber picks
Sure.
and tell you
It,
how wrong you were about yours?
which I most likely will be. It's at Anthony Hoffman, Facebook and Twitter at Anthony Hoffman, and my Instagram name is at Tony Hoffman Shy. That's Tony Hoffman Shy, CHI.
All right, and I am on Twitter at Zach from Chicago. That's ZAC from Chicago. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Zach
YouTube.
Hughes. YouTube. So youtube.com/Zach Hughes. I'm doing at least one video every week this entire year, and so far I've stuck to that. And check out the podcast on Twitter, twitter.com/frustrated grad. Whoa. Blow out your
Whoa.
speakers, everybody.
Right.
So we're on Twitter at frustrated grad, youtube.com/frustrated grads, and check out the Frustrated Grad Podcast Facebook page. Also, check us out on iTunes, Google Play Podcast, and Stitcher. As well, hey, if you have Player FM, for
Player, player.
all my Android people who don't have a good podcast app, Player FM is a great podcast app, and I think you can find us on there. I've just added our podcast to their feeds. So, and if you're looking for previous episodes of the Frustrated Grad podcast and you don't see them on the audio feed, check out the YouTube page, and they're all up there. So, that's it for this episode of the Frustrated Grad podcast. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for listening. And that's all you get for today.